Did you know California passed more than 1,000 new laws in just 1 year? And in 2026, some of the most controversial, surprising, and life-changing ones are finally taking effect. From AI hiring rules that could change how you get a job, to plastic bans that might impact your daily shopping routine. This isn't just politics. These are changes that could affect your rent, your kids' school, your wallet, and even your health. What's really wild, many Californians have no idea what's coming. Buried inside these legal updates are major shifts in climate policy, education, social media, and public safety. Some laws are being praised as visionary. Others, they're sparking protests, lawsuits, and heated debates across the state. Whether you agree with them or not, they're coming. In this video, we're diving into 10 of the biggest California law changes in 2026, what they are, why they matter, and how they could seriously impact your life. Buckle up. Number 1. AI in the workplace. Imagine submitting your resume and never speaking to a person. That's the reality for millions of job seekers, as companies increasingly rely on artificial intelligence to screen applications, assess video interviews, and even reject candidates automatically. But starting in 2026, California is saying, not so fast. A new law will now require employers to clearly disclose when AI is being used in the hiring process. Even more importantly, if the AI makes a decision that affects your employment, like rejecting you, you'll have the right to a human review. The goal? To eliminate hidden bias and discrimination coded into algorithms, which often go unchecked and disproportionately affect minority groups. Why does this matter? A recent MIT study found that some AI systems discriminate against certain accents, genders, and even facial expressions. Imagine being rejected from a job just because the software didn't like your tone of voice or facial twitch. This law is California's attempt to protect fairness and transparency in a digital hiring age. So if you're applying for jobs in 2026, keep an eye out. Companies must now inform you when AI is involved. And if you suspect you were unfairly treated, you'll be legally empowered to demand a human explanation. It's not just about robots, it's about your rights. Tap that subscribe button. We put real effort into making these videos worth your time. And let us know in the comments, have you ever been ghosted by an online job app and wondered if AI was behind it? We'd love to hear your story. Number 2. Rent control just got stricter. If you've ever felt like your rent jumps every year for no reason, you're not imagining it, and you're not alone. In fact, California is home to 8 of the top 10 most expensive rental cities in the US. But 2026 brings a powerful new change that could finally offer some relief to renters. Starting this year, California is rolling out a tighter statewide rent control law, capping annual rent increases at no more than 5%, including inflation, for buildings older than 15 years. That's a major shift from the previous 10% cap, and it's designed to keep long-time tenants from being priced out of their homes by sudden, sharp rent hikes. This law doesn't just put a leash on extreme landlords, it also requires written justification for any rent increase and strict penalties for violations. That means if your landlord tries to bump your rent above the cap without proper cause, you now have legal protection and grounds to challenge it. Why is this such a big deal? A UCLA housing study showed that over half of California renters spend more than 30% of their income on rent alone. This new law aims to stabilize that burden and give working families room to breathe. So whether you're in Los Angeles, Oakland, or a small Central Valley town, if you're renting in 2026, this law is your new financial shield. Hit that subscribe button. It's just one click, but it helps us keep going. And in the comments, tell us, how much has your rent gone up in the last 3 years? Your story might help someone else feel less alone. Number 3. Climate accountability gets real. You've seen the commercials, major corporations claiming they're eco-friendly, carbon neutral, or green. But how much of that is actually true? Starting in 2026, California is forcing these companies to prove it. No more hiding behind flashy marketing. If you're making over $1 billion in revenue, the state now requires you to publicly disclose your full carbon emissions, including indirect emissions from your supply chain. This is the first law of its kind in the US, and it's putting real pressure on massive companies like Amazon, Chevron, and Apple to come clean about their climate impact. These disclosures won't be hidden in legal documents either. They must be made publicly accessible, meaning you can see what kind of environmental footprint your favorite brands are leaving behind. Why is this such a game changer? According to the CDP, Carbon Disclosure Project, just 100 companies are responsible for over 70% of global emissions. By shining a light on their actual numbers, this law gives consumers, investors, and watchdog groups the power to hold them accountable. And here's the best part. This isn't just about guilt-tripping corporations. It gives you the power to choose. Want to support companies truly investing in clean energy and sustainability? This law hands you the transparency to make smarter, greener choices with your wallet. So next time you buy a product or stream a show, remember, you'll finally know the environmental cost behind it. Click that subscribe button. It's one small gesture that helps us bring you the truth. And drop a comment. Which company do you hope is actually eco-friendly? Let's start holding them accountable together. Number 4. Mental health days for students. For years, students have been told to tough it out, to go to school no matter how overwhelmed, anxious, or emotionally drained they feel. But in 2026, California is finally saying mental health matters just as much as physical health. Under the new law, all K-12 public schools must now allow students to take 2 excused mental health days per semester. That means no doctor's note, no awkward explanations, just a legitimate break when things feel too heavy to handle. It's a major step toward normalizing mental health in education, and it's backed by growing research that shows emotional well-being has a direct impact on learning. According to the CDC, nearly 1 in 3 high school students report persistent feelings of sadness or hopelessness. That's not just a statistic, that's millions of kids struggling in silence. This new policy gives students and families a way to pause, reset, and come back stronger without being punished or stigmatized. But this isn't just about taking days off. Schools are now required to train staff to recognize signs of mental distress and connect students with resources. So whether it's anxiety, burnout, or depression, California is pushing schools to stop brushing it under the rug. Parents, talk to your child's school about how they're implementing the policy. Students, know that it's okay to ask for help, and now it's your legal right. If that speaks to you, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It's just one click, but it fuels everything we do. And in the comments, tell us, should all states make mental health days mandatory in schools? Let your voice be part of the change. Number 5. The plastic ban expansion. Grabbing a plastic fork with your takeout? Not anymore. In 2026, California is taking its war on waste to the next level with one of the strictest single-use plastic bans in the country. This new law doesn't just target grocery bags or straws. It expands to utensils, lids, wrappers, stirrers, and even sauce packets handed out at restaurants and retail stores. From now on, businesses can only offer these plastic items if a customer specifically asks for them. If they don't comply, they face hefty fines that increase with each violation. The idea is simple: reduce plastic waste by breaking the habit of unnecessary convenience. And it's not just about cluttering landfills. A report from the Ocean Conservancy revealed that plastic utensils are among the top 10 items polluting global beaches. These everyday items take hundreds of years to decompose, harming wildlife and contaminating ecosystems. So what does this mean for you? It's time to go reusable. Think a foldable spork in your bag, a metal straw in your glove box, or even a compact to-go kit in your backpack. It's a small shift in mindset that California hopes will lead to a massive environmental payoff. This law might feel inconvenient at first, but it's a reminder that real change often starts with small habits. And this one, it's a daily decision that could help clean up our planet, one meal at a time. So if you appreciate that, show some love and tap that subscribe button. Just one click helps us keep going. And tell us in the comments, would you carry your own utensils if it meant saving the ocean? Be honest, we're curious. Number 6. Gig worker protections. If you've ever driven for Uber, delivered food with DoorDash, or picked up freelance work online, you're part of California's booming gig economy, a workforce that's flexible, fast-moving, and, until now, largely unprotected. But in 2026, that's about to change. California is introducing a groundbreaking law that forces gig companies to offer health benefits, wage transparency, and clearer protections to their independent contractors. That includes access to minimum guaranteed pay, paid sick leave, and even contributions toward health insurance for those who meet a minimum number of working hours per week. For over 1.3 million gig workers in California, this law isn't just a tweak, it's a total shift in how independent work is treated. No longer can platforms silently dodge labor responsibilities while profiting from workers with no safety net. A Stanford study found that gig workers are 4 times more likely to lack health coverage than traditional employees, and nearly half struggle to make ends meet despite working full-time hours. This law is California's bold move to close the gap between flexibility and fairness. Whether you're hustling full-time or making extra cash on weekends, this law gives you new rights you didn't have before. If you're a customer, this might mean slightly higher fees, but it also means that the person delivering your groceries or giving you a ride home can finally work with dignity. Click that subscribe button. It's just 1 second for you, but it fuels hours of research and storytelling. And tell us in the comments, have you ever worked a gig job? What was your experience like? We want to hear your real stories. Number 7. Social media and teens. Endless scrolling, late-night doom scrolling, just 5 more minutes turning into hours. If that sounds familiar, especially if you're a parent, you're not alone. Studies show that teenagers now spend an average of 8.3 hours a day on screens, and a growing number of experts are calling it a mental health crisis. In 2026, California is stepping in. A new law requires social media platforms to disable addictive features like infinite scroll, autoplay, and certain notification algorithms for users under 18. On top of that, platforms must provide detailed screen time reports to both teens and their parents, helping families track usage and set limits together. Why is this necessary? A report from the U.S. Surgeon General linked excessive social media use to increased anxiety, depression, and sleep disruption in teens. California's new law doesn't ban social media, it simply puts brakes on the features designed to keep kids hooked. The law also requires platforms to prioritize mental health safety when designing their interfaces, especially for young users. It's a move that shifts responsibility away from kids and parents and places it back on the tech giants profiting from addictive behavior. If you're a parent, this means you'll finally have tools, built right into the apps, to support healthier screen habits. If you're a teen, you'll get a chance to reclaim your time and mental space. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It's free for you, but it helps us keep sharing content that actually matters. And drop a comment. Do you think this law goes too far or not far enough? Let's talk about it in the thread. Number 8. Zero-emission government vehicles. You've seen the electric vehicle ads, you've heard the buzz about going green, but now, in 2026, California is putting its money where its mouth is by electrifying its own fleet. Under a new state law, all newly purchased government vehicles must be zero-emission. That means electric, hydrogen, or other clean alternatives. No more gas-powered cars for state departments. Why does this matter? The California state government operates tens of thousands of vehicles, from highway patrol cars to administrative trucks. Swapping those out for zero-emission models is expected to cut thousands of tons of greenhouse gas emissions every year, setting a bold example for businesses and residents alike. But this isn't just about cleaner air, it's also about leadership. By transitioning first, the state is helping drive demand for EVs, which can lead to lower prices, better infrastructure, and more charging stations for everyone. It also puts pressure on manufacturers to ramp up clean vehicle production faster. According to the California Air Resources Board, the transportation sector is the largest contributor to greenhouse gas emissions in the state. This law isn't just symbolic, it's a strategic move to make clean transportation a visible and viable norm, starting with the vehicles that drive past you every day. So the next time you see a state car quietly gliding by, just know it's not just quiet, it's part of a bigger plan. Hit that subscribe button. One simple click helps us keep delivering content that actually fuels change. And comment below, if the state could go electric, should all cities follow next? We'd love to hear your take. Number 9. Police body cam transparency. When a serious incident happens involving law enforcement, whether it's a use of force, an arrest gone wrong, or a public complaint, the public often waits weeks or even months to see what really happened. That delay? It's fueled distrust, speculation, and outrage. But in 2026, California is setting a new standard. Body camera footage must be released within 72 hours of any critical incident. This bold new law applies to all law enforcement agencies across the state, and it's designed to bring transparency, accountability, and faster answers when the public demands them most. No more endless, ongoing investigation excuses while tensions rise. Now, communities will get clear footage within 3 days, unless a judge deems a delay absolutely necessary for safety or legal reasons. Why is this such a big deal? A study by the Urban Institute found that when body cam footage is released promptly, public trust increases and misinformation drops dramatically. It's a small change that could have massive impact on how communities interact with their police departments. This law also gives power back to the public. When people know the truth faster, they can respond more responsibly, whether that means supporting officers doing their jobs right or demanding justice where it's due. Either way, facts will speak louder than speculation. Whether you support law enforcement reform or not, this law pushes California one step closer to a system that serves everyone more fairly. So if you're into facts over fear, click that subscribe button. It's just one click, but it means everything to us. And let us know in the comments, do you think 72 hours is fast enough or still too slow? Let's start the conversation. Number 10. Universal Basic Income Pilot Expansion. What if the government gave you $1,200 every month, no strings attached? It sounds like science fiction, or maybe just politics, but in California, it's becoming real. In 2026, the state is dramatically expanding its Universal Basic Income (UBI) pilot programs, bringing guaranteed monthly payments to thousands more low-income residents in select cities. Originally launched as small experiments in places like Stockton and Los Angeles, the early results were surprising. Participants reported better mental health, more job stability, and increased savings, with many using the money for essentials like rent, food, and childcare. Contrary to critics' fears, most recipients didn't quit their jobs, they just stopped living in survival mode. This new law gives funding to counties and cities that want to run locally managed UBI programs, targeting groups like foster youth aging out of the system, single parents, and low-income workers. It's not a one-size-fits-all handout. It's a strategic support system aimed at lifting people just enough to stand on their own. And while this isn't a statewide paycheck for everyone yet, it's a bold move that could reshape how we think about poverty, work, and what it really takes to build economic security in California's high-cost landscape. Whether you agree with it or not, this expansion is one of the most watched and debated policy moves of 2026, and it could become a national blueprint if it succeeds. So if this helped you understand UBI better, hit that subscribe button. It fuels everything we do. And tell us in the comments, if you got $1,200 a month, how would you use it? Be real. Your answer might inspire someone else. 2026 isn't just another year on the calendar. It's a turning point for California. From tech regulation and climate action to mental health, housing, and worker rights, these 10 new laws reveal something bigger. The state is no longer waiting for change, it's leading it. These aren't distant policies tucked away in legal documents. They're changes that will shape your rent, your job, your health, your kids' future, even what you use to eat lunch. Whether you agree with every law or not, one thing is clear. California is stepping into a bold new era of accountability, protection, and innovation. And let's be honest, some of these changes might feel inconvenient, some might spark controversy, but many are rooted in the same goal: making systems work better for real people. These aren't just headlines, they're signs of how government, technology, and daily life are colliding faster than ever. If you live in California, or even if you're just watching from another state, these laws are worth paying attention to, because as history has shown us, what happens in California often spreads across the country. So, now that you know what's coming, how will you prepare? Which laws do you support? Which ones do you question? Your awareness and your voice matter more than ever.